In the world of high-stakes finance, AI isn't some cool new gadget anymore. It's an absolute necessity. But how do you build an AI that you can actually trust when just one tiny mistake can be a total catastrophe? So today we're going to dive into the blueprint for a whole new generation of financial AI, one that's been built from the ground up to reject fiction and run purely on facts.
Just think about the insane amount of data an investment bank juggles every single day. We're talking market reports, compliance manuals, all that client communication. In an environment like that, accuracy isn't just important, it's everything. A misplaced decimal point, a misunderstood regulation, these aren't just little oopsies, they're the first domino in a very, very expensive chain reaction.
Because the fallout is immediate and it is severe. We're talking about millions of dollars in losses, crippling fines from regulators, and losing something even more valuable, your client's trust. The stakes are just way too high for good enough.
And that brings us to the core problem with just grabbing some off-the-shelf AI and plugging it into a bank. These general models have this tendency to, hallucinate, which is really just a polite way of saying they make stuff up. See, these models are built to be creative, which is awesome if you're drafting an email, but in finance, creativity with the facts isn't a feature, it's a catastrophic bug.
So here's the deal. These general models are amazing, right? But they pull their answers from the huge, messy, and, let's be honest, often unreliable public internet. They're basically just reciting things they've read, and that includes outdated info and just plain wrong data. For an investment bank, where even a 1% error rate is completely out of the question, that's a total non-starter.
Okay, so how do we fix this? Well, the answer lies in an architecture with a really cool name, Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. It's a really clever method that forces an AI to retrieve the facts before it can generate an answer. It completely grounds everything it says in verifiable truth.
And here's where you can really see the difference. A general AI is kind of like a student trying to answer a question from memory. They might get it wrong, they might misremember. But a RAG-powered AI, that's like a student with an open book exam, where the only book they're allowed to use is your company's private, trusted, and totally up-to-date collection of documents. The AI isn't just encouraged to use it, it is physically not allowed to answer it without looking at it first.
To put it even more simply, RAG basically builds a digital fence around the AI. So instead of wandering all over the internet for answers, it can only access your firm's internal reports, your contracts, your data. This creates a closed-loop system where the only possible sources are the ones you've already checked and approved. The whole process works in 3 pretty elegant steps. First, the system basically reads all of your company's internal knowledge and turns it into a super fast searchable index. Think of it like creating the ultimate digital librarian for your company's brain. Second, when a user asks a question, the system instantly zips through that private library and retrieves only the most relevant snippets of information. And finally, and this is the magic part, the AI is then forced to generate its answer using only those verified facts. No more guesswork, no more making things up.
But, just finding the right fact is only half the battle. What about really complex tasks? A single question might need you to look up market data, run a calculation, and check for compliance all at once. A single generalist AI would really struggle with that. So, to solve it, you don't just need an AI, you need a team of specialist AIs.
And this is where a multi-agent system comes into play. Instead of one AI trying to do everything, you've got a whole team. Your question might first go to an investment agent who pulls live data from Bloomberg. Then those results get passed to an actuarial agent who crunches all the numbers. And finally, the draft recommendation is sent to a compliance agent, basically a digital lawyer, who scans the whole thing to make sure it's legally sound before a human ever sees the answer. And the result of all this is a complete game changer, especially for a regulated industry like finance. You get total traceability. When a regulator comes knocking and asks, "Hey, why did the AI recommend this?" you don't just get a shrug. You get a perfect, step-by-step audit trail, showing exactly which agent did what and linking it right back to the specific sentence in the source document it used. But here's the thing. This incredible AI architecture with the RAG system and the team of agents, it's like a really sophisticated castle. And any castle is only as strong as the moat that protects it. In the world of AI, that moat is built out of one thing: data. So building this data moat really comes down to 3 key pillars. First, you have to activate your dark data. This just means unlocking all that valuable wisdom that's trapped in messy places like meeting notes and old scanned PDFs.
Second, you have to guarantee bulletproof data privacy. This is done with some pretty clever techniques that let the AI learn from sensitive information without that data ever having to leave the bank's own secure servers. And third, you create a feedback loop with your human experts, so they're constantly correcting and refining the AI, making it smarter and more in tune with your firm's way of thinking every single day.
Okay, so this all sounds incredibly powerful in theory, right? But how does a company actually make it happen? Well, it's not about flipping some big AI switch. It's a methodical, three-phase journey that takes you from simple tools to full-blown automation.
The whole journey starts with phase 1, just building a really powerful internal search engine that makes all your company's knowledge instantly findable. Then, in phase 2, you move from just searching to actually doing things, building an AI middle layer that can perform specific tasks, like summarizing reports. And finally, in phase 3, you get full integration. This is where those skilled AI agents get embedded right into your team's daily workflow, acting as true intelligent assistants.
And this really gets to a critical insight from the folks who are actually building these systems. The biggest challenge isn't having the fanciest technology. The real difficulty, and honestly the real source of a competitive edge, is successfully encoding your firm's unique financial logic and decades of human experience into the AI. It's about teaching it not just what to know, but how to think like one of your best analysts.
So that leaves us with one final and, I think, really important question. As these incredibly powerful systems come online, what's the real key to success? Is it found in writing smarter code, or is it found in the deep, irreplaceable knowledge of the human experts who guide the machine? The future of finance, it seems, won't be defined by a choice between them, but by the incredible power of their partnership.